You? We've missed you. Welcome back to the Down by Two podcast. I'm your host, Josh Elijah. To my right, Jesse McKay, aka Birdman.
Hello.
Damn it. Hello.
Hello. How are
Hi.
you? Haven't
Dude,
heard that one in a while.
it's been a minute, and dude, I gotta say, it feels so good to be able to get back on and
Hmm.
do what we love doing here at the Down by Two podcast, and just talk sports, talk about each other, talk about life in general, and obviously sports, and sprinkle in a bit of bets. Man, it's for all our listeners out there. Thank you for just showing a bit of support. Not going to dwell on things. It's been a crazy few months for me personally, and Bert, I'm sure the same for you as well. Life just sometimes just not even hands you lemons. They whip them. Like it can just be, it can be really crazy, and things can just change at the drop of a hat. But you know what? You pivot, you figure things out, and I just got to say, man, it's super great to be back here and on the show and chatting with you, buddy. I love you, and I've missed you, man.
Yeah, I love you too, man. And yeah, man. And sometimes you don't know how to make lemonade out of those lemons. You got to just throw them
Yeah,
aside for a bit and figure out what to do.
you're out of
Um,
sugar, so you can't make lemonade, and so you might as well just squeeze it
you
into
just drink some lemon water, like I guess. I don't know. I guess.
with mixed with a stiff amount of vodka. That's for
Oh,
damn sure.
yeah, yeah. You need that. You need
Just
that.
uh,
Man,
but
good to be back though. Here we
it's
are.
good to
It's
be back on the network with Crier
yeah.
Media. Good to be back with our boys over at Yup Beer and Bet Stamp and all of it. It's the gang's back together. It's been 3 months,
It's been
three
a hot
months,
minute.
and you know what? I mean, not for nothing, but just to acknowledge, the passing of my father-in-law, Rob McClung. Just it was just it was tough. It is still tough. He was a big fan of the show, so I can't go on without giving him a shout out. So shout out to you, Rob. I mean, like, man, rest in peace. It's you're going to be severely missed, but man, he loved this show, and he would always like listen to it in the garage and show his friends and stuff. And then if it wasn't a show night, then he would just be like, "Hey, what do you got?" And then
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know,
He'd give
Blue
you his
Jay.
hot takes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like, I think it's the under, and then I'm like, all right, let's
Yeah.
go with the under, and then if it would hit, he'd just be like, nice one. But if it would miss, he'd be like, nice one. And
Yeah.
it's just like, no, 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 we lost, Rob. So it's okay. And we always put down on the Jays 50-50 tickets. So I bought one for him too. So really looking forward to
There
that
you go.
million
There you go.
dollar prize. So we'll see how that unveils. But man, just wanted to say shout out, Rob. We miss you and love you. Um, with that being said, I mean, with taking 3 months off and figuring out life shit, it's crazy because we've missed a ton of
Oh man.
sports. So
All the
much has
sports
happened
that we
since
were talking about
January.
last summer that we were like, "Oh,
Oh,
I can't wait.
can't
Can't
wait.
wait for basketball. Can't wait
It's
for
the
hockey."
middle of July, and
Oh
we are
man.
tired of baseball. I mean, like, we love baseball.
Yeah,
We do,
we do,
but
but
like, it's
man,
just I'm
162 games of it, it gets tough.
tired of watching the Diamondbacks and Rockies. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
watch these teams right now. It's just like, please, I need the NFL. I need something. And then we missed 3 months. We missed 3 months.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
almost a whole
Um,
season.
a lot's happened. I got a new
So
freaking
much happened.
studio. Like,
It looks
this is
fantastic.
this is crazy.
I love it. I'm
Yeah.
surprised you put up a Iverson jersey after that encounter, though. Like,
I
would
mean,
you
so
not have
that
gotten rid of that?
never never meet your idols, right? They say you don't meet your idols, you just remember to not meet them. No, man, that's for a boy Jeff Beaton. That's
True.
his jersey. So it's
Yes, yes.
just a little a wall of memories. This is my father-in-law's London Knights piece that he got me as well, and then that's our boy Jeffy. So we're putting up there, always just sort of a tribute to the ones that we love and the ones that we've lost.
Yeah,
So
of course.
that's it. But with that being said, let's in a nutshell try and wrap up the craziness that has happened over the 3 months. Let's start with the Toronto Raptors.
Ugh,
Birdman,
Where do you
Talk
even
to me.
begin,
I
man?
mean, we have hour-long conversations
Oh yeah.
all the time about this and just vent. Um,
Yeah, whenever something major happens, it's like immediately have to call Josh. Or you
dude.
call me and it's like, dude, so you obviously saw this, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And then
It's
we basically have a podcast over the phone.
and then we just it was like fuck, we should have recorded this. Like it's
Yeah.
oh man. But
Oh
yeah,
man,
there's
where do you
lots of
begin
chat.
though?
I mean,
It's
let's just talk about some of the facts and like even just the play-in game and leading up to it.
the very
That's not
mediocre season. Was
it's such a mid season.
yeah.
And like very underwhelming, obviously. We're not going to harp too much and dwell on the Nick Nurse comments that he made in the presser leading up to that, but it definitely played a factor,
That
did it
is
not?
it's gotta be. I know, like, the front office was not happy with that. It's like, dude, you're about to lead your team into the play-in tournament and possibly the playoffs, and, you're already looking to the time after that. Like, that's not a good precedent to set to these guys that are also just like, "What the hell is going on this year? Like, we're better than this," you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's confusing. It doesn't give you a lot of confidence, right? So I can see why they would be pissed off about that, and it definitely played a factor in the decision, I would say.
I mean, you look in retrospect, and you look at some of his, and go back and watch his preseason pressers and what have you, and he gives you a lot of hope, and just say, hey, we built a lot, and some may look back at last season before when we made it to the playoffs and were ultimately eliminated by the Philadelphia 76ers, that there was a lot to be able to build on, and it definitely reflected a little bit of that, but. Maybe just in retrospect now, it kind of just looks like it's the same sort of mumbo jumbo that he gives every year, and it makes you really question, like, was he able to do everything that he did with this team if it wasn't for Kawhi?
I
And being
mean,
able to get that championship because it was just a steady decline after that. I mean, a lot of bright spots and
it was
amazing
very up
development
and
with like
down.
Pascal and Fred and what have you, and then the Tampa year. I mean, there's just a lot of up and
Well,
down,
dude,
obviously.
you got the year after Kawhi was surprise. It was a great year. They got 50 something wins, I think.
Hmm.
And then
Coach of the year.
yep, coach of the year. Then down year in Tampa last year. Oh, not too bad. 48 wins, surprise. This year kind of a down year, right? So it's been very
41.
up and down, not a lot of consistency, right? And
Mm-mm.
it's like, okay, so was that championship year really just, the, you know, perfect mesh of people at the right time? And
Yeah.
that's all it was, it kind of leads you to believe that where, going into the season, you were like, oh no, the squad is good. Like it, we can move on from something like that and still come out on top. And it's like, maybe that is the case, maybe not. Maybe it's just they need a new voice in the room, right? So,
So that was going to be my next question. Do you think that he lost the locker room a bit there, and then that's where they've just ended up being really, really mid?
yeah, I would say so. I mean, you look back at like, Fred this year, just he looks like somebody's grandpa just yelling at kids to get off their lawn. Like he's just like always pissed and like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know
No,
what I
I
mean? Like
I
it just
know exactly what you mean. That was just an
and
incredible
like
picture to paint.
like yeah, and Scotty is the kid getting off his lawn, just like I just like yeah, I don't know. I just feel like those guys kind of tuned him out because they were probably sick of it,
Oh
just
man, yeah.
and like some of the plays he would run were like so questionable, and you're just like, that's not the Nick Nurse of old, I guess you would say.
Because
But
he's amazing at his X's and O's, and he
yeah,
was a total gangster for busting out the box in 1D. In that playoff run as well, the championship run.
of
He's like, hats off to you, Nick. Thank you for bringing a chip to Toronto as well and being an instrumental part of that.
course, of course,
But
not talking down on him at all.
and like he said, 10 years is a good run, and let me go to my next spot, which I guess was
Apparently
gonna be
isn't
Houston,
Houston.
and
Yeah,
it's just yeah. Hello, Amy Adoku, and
yeah.
that's
So good luck with
have
that,
fun in Charlotte, I guess. I don't know, like it's like oh
man.
man,
That
I could totally see him doing that.
that well, I mean, it's like who's the next coach then? Because Udoko is like very highly regarded, I guess, in the by the front
Maybe he
office.
just goes
So.
to Detroit, and then we promote Adrian Griffin, and then we win a championship, just like the last time, right? So
Right.
it's just
You never
history.
know.
But he has to go to Detroit, otherwise we don't win
Yeah,
a
of
championship.
course. I mean, the spot's vacant, right? It's
Yeah,
available. So.
yeah. Oh man, that would be funny. Any aspirations or any sort of positive outlook going into next year? And there are a lot of questions about what they're going to do with some of their key players. The cornerstones of Fred and Pascal. Are they going to blow it up? Scotty Barnes, obviously, seems to be the only untouchable player. We think that maybe Gary Trent Jr. has played his last game in Toronto,
Yep.
but it seems like there are some players that have had their time is up in Toronto, and that was evident with the 19 or 18 point loss with Chicago coming back and beating us in that play-in game. So, what are your thoughts and any positivity going into the new year?
I mean, I'm happy that we've got a couple of our key guys locked up still on relatively good deals. Like, you still got Scotty, still got OG, still got Pascal. With those guys, we can still be a competitive team. I mean, do you want to tie yourself down with Fred? I mean, I love the guy, but he looked a little lost out there sometimes and maybe a little too overconfident. And it's like, maybe he's not that guy. Like, so do you really want to mortgage your cap space and your future with someone like that who, I mean, he's 29. He's still got some great years ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
But do you transition? I know you're asking me the question, but do you transition to the younger squad or I don't know. That's the question where I'm really kind of confused.
Well, what is the younger squad? That's the
Right.
like it's Scotty, and then we just don't
It's a
actually have a point guard. And what
That's the
leads me to
problem. We don't have a point guard.
it looks like we obviously, and you look at some of these crazy stats that jump out, and like you look at Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, they lead the league in numbers or minutes played. Sorry, minutes played.
Yeah.
And that's directly because of Nick Nurse. So now that Nick Nurse is out of the fold, how much
Right.
does Masai actually try and keep this core together? Because he said it himself, he doesn't think that they're too far off from a championship, from a squad
Mhm.
that could actually contend. So potentially, this just wasn't the right coach for this squad as it's constructed. So maybe they try and retain and be like, all right, no, we have faith in these players and we want to see them succeed. Maybe it's just with a little bit of guidance, and it's. I don't know. It could just be Adrian Griffin or whoever they decide to bring in at the coaching position, but yeah, it is interesting. You need a point guard. I mean, Point Scotty
Mhm.
is great to be able to throw out at teams as an option, but he's not your starting point guard. So
No. And Malachi is just not going to cut it. I'm sorry.
no, Maliki, no,
No.
Maliki.
No.
Um,
But the thing also is like the bench, like they were basically a zero on offense when you put them out there, right? And I think that's why he relied on the starters so much, and you saw their minutes skyrocket because it's like as soon as he puts them out there, they're not doing anything. They're not helping us win. So maybe that's where you build a little bit more is the bench and
mhm.
rest those starters a little more and maybe it equals out a bit more. Like,
Yeah, they
is
need to
that the
add
way
that
to
depth.
go?
They've always been a deep team, and they need to go back
Yeah.
to the depth that they've
Like
had
our
because
bench was pretty shit in
it was
all
bad.
honesty. Yeah.
I mean, like we were only playing Boucher and Gary when he's coming off the bench as well, and that's literally it. I mean,
Pretty much it.
Koloko's not seeing the developing minutes. It seems like a team that needs to develop, and they were really stuck, man. To be ninth, like that's hard.
Dude, when you
And
throw Will Barton in there as a guy to eat minutes because you literally have no one else, like that says a lot, in my opinion.
man, yeah, he's. I was really hoping to get like old Will Barton, old Willie Billy, um, well, but for back in Denver. But I think those years are behind him. But
Yeah.
anyways, Raptors. There's a whole off season. He's
Mhm.
talked about trades that were available at the trade deadline that he can definitely revisit in the off season.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. I'm having fun watching the playoffs right now. But let's transition over to our Leafs because, geez,
Oh, baby.
Louise, right now, man, like like I was watching the game with our homeboy Jesse Houston, podcast favorite. We were watching it down 4-1, and it's just like, man, it could be the right time to put sprinkle a little bit on the money line, and just to see how the tides turned so much in that third, because they did not look like they were interested in winning this game
No.
whatsoever. But then Matthews, bang, Matthews, bong, like it was just couple quick goals just really changed the energy in that building. And then next thing you know, it's tied up, and we're going to OT.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just walk me through, man. Walk me through what you're thinking, because it's and we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We're not going to even talk about what potential
No.
game 6
Don't
or
even
7
say
or
it. Don't
5.
even say
I'm
it.
not. No, we're not going to talk about it.
Leaf fans are the most superstitious people out there. So
We've lost a series down 3-1 before, up 3-1 before. So that's not even.
Yes.
Let's not go there. But talk to me about what you like. Talk to me about Samsonov in net and the core four, and just having the kind of next man up mentality. Give it to me all.
There's so much to cover. Like, for me personally, like watching the game, like I was completely removed from the action in the third. I gotta say, like I had some work stuff come up, so I was like on my phone and just like completely disconnected from what was happening. And because I was like,
And you see Matthew score,
it's
like,
over.
Goal.
I was like, it's over.
It was a
man.
nice
like,
goal.
They don't have it tonight. Like, I think that between periods 1 and 2, like it was very obvious. Like they just didn't have it. And I've also felt that way about game 3, but they're pulling these wins out of their asses, and that's literally what it takes to win a playoff series. Like, you can't just be the better team all the time. That's not how it works in hockey.
It was those two in Tampa, and that's a tough building to play in. But yeah, sure, there's a bunch of snowbirds that are down there, but it's tough to face them on their home ice, and they've been close. They've been, especially just in the third, with tying it up and bringing it to overtime in both cases on Saturday and on Tuesday as well. But you really kind of look at the series as a whole, and what an embarrassment game 1 was, and then just a wake up call. It must have been some kind of locker room speech from someone, but there just seems to be a huge tilt since game 1.
Yeah, man. And dude, Morgan Riley has just been like playoff hero, like unbelievable.
Big old shiner, man.
He's my boyfriend right now. I love him.
I love you, Riley.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude. And man, it's just like you got man, like sometimes
and O'Reilly.
I watch them, and O'Reilly too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude,
both
like you watch it sometimes, and you're like, I'm not even mad at you, Hall. Like, it's like,
right.
He's
making some.
He makes me so angry sometimes, but it's just like
decent plays.
I'm not even pissed. Yeah, and then Nyes to be able to set up
blocks.
like, it just shows you like what a cohesive unit that these guys have, to be able to bring up Nyes after after God. Bunting's out. So
doesn't he look so good?
He looks great. He looks great.
Yeah. Dude,
I saw a sign
without those guys,
I saw someone holding a sign that says "Very nice."
Yeah, I saw
like,
that one.
That was my favorite.
So
already become a fan favorite.
For the listeners, I was at Maple Leaf Square at the tailgate party that they do for Game 2, and the one sign that this kid had, it said, Corey Perry doesn't recycle. It's just like the most PG chirp, but it's amazing.
I hope that's not true, Corey. That's right? Very irresponsible of you.
And Brad and I decided, Brad Urich, next time we go, we're gonna make a John Pooper sign.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I just want to see your front row. Just Dude,
we're on the TSN Instagram page on one of their reels. This is me, Brad and Jake and I right up front, just
poo.
Like so good,
man. That's incredible. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be excited about going into Thursday as well. But yeah, let's not talk about the outcome. Let's just do what we came to do, and hopefully close out this series. But here's a question for you: now that Bunting is back, do you play him like you used to? No.
Nope. I don't. You don't even put him in the lineup. if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way I look at it. I think if you get through this round, slot him in somewhere in game 1, see how it goes, and go from there. But you do not throw him in. That dude is a liability right now. He just doesn't know how to keep his emotions in check, and it gets the better of him.
He's tried to take on that enforcer role, and it's just like, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. Trust me. You're not
that guy, pal.
Yeah, trust me. You're not that guy.
Yeah.
Who you are? That's right. I am that guy.
I don't know. He's just proven to us that he can't be trusted. So I wouldn't.
I don't really want to talk about this, but it's something that we've discussed over the phone over the last little bit and what have you. And obviously with the trade deadline going on and the acquisitions that the Leafs made, and, just definitely in like Dubas did everything that the people have asked of him. A lot of people are just like, oh yeah, because if they lose round 1, he's out this year as a GM. Is that the case though? If the Leafs, and it's just saying if they happen to somehow lose this series, does Dubas keep his job?
I think it depends if you want to re-sign Austin Matthews or not. You got to think about it this way. Like,
that's a really, really good point, man.
Like, yeah, sure, we can re-sign Matthews, no problem. But I think you have a much easier time if you keep the guy that drafted him, has that relationship with him, has developed him, seen him grow. Like, there's no doubt that they're friends. You can that guy, and then, say you're Austin Matthews, you're like, okay, well, who's the next guy? Am I going to get along with him? What's the direction of the franchise now? Things like that. It puts a bit of a cloud over that, and maybe other thoughts creep in, and you're like, well, maybe I'd want to go sign somewhere else. It looks pretty nice over there. Like, it's just you don't even want to let that opportunity come about. So I think you re-sign Dubas. He's a sick GM. He's shown us that he can learn from his mistakes, which you can't say about a lot of other people because they're so stubborn. They just stick with what they did, and they're like, nope, this is how it's gonna be, and
this is the way it's gonna be.
Yeah. So I think he listens. Flexible. He listens. Yeah. He listens to the fans as well.
And he's cute.
He's a good-looking dude, and he yells at other fans at the arena.
Good. Yeah.
So yeah,
he's not above the people.
Yeah. No, he's with the people.
He's a good-looking guy. That's not an official take. That's
no.
It's like he's cute. He's like, and then you're like, well, I guess he's good.
That went off the rails. I don't know. I say you keep him in if you want to keep Austin Matthews happy. That's the first thing,
and that's it. There would be so much uncertainty if you can Dubas and as Austin Matthews, if you want to retain him, and I think that it should be a resounding yes that you want him to be a part of this organization for his entire career.
Of course.
So yeah, you don't get rid of Dubas, and it's a little concerning that he hasn't been extended yet. But it's sort of wanting to see what he would do with this year. I think so too. Regardless, so prayers, Leafs fans. Let's make it through Thursday. And there's still a lot of hockey to be played, but man, you got to feel excited if you're a Leafs fan right now. That being said, we're not going to jump into baseball because there's just so much of the summer to be able to talk about the Blue Jays. Excited about the Blue Jays. There's still figuring things out at the beginning of the season, but you got to like some of the pitching performances that we have. We'll definitely have all the time.
We have all summer to dive into that
to talk about that. So not even going to bother with that, but let's talk about a couple picks for Thursday. We're going to keep things simple, aren't we?
We sure are.
Let's take the Leafs on the money line, man.
Yep.
Obviously, checking out the best odds over on BetStamp. Check out the BetStamp app. It's our boys; they always will be. So we're constantly using the app, and you can follow along with our picks as well on the BetStamp app. But we found the best odds on the money line available on Betway at -150. So let's take the Leafs money line. Let's close this out in 5, and then every game this series has been the over. It's been over 6.5. So why stop now? It could be a real grind amount game, but at the end of the day, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've been hammering the over and it's been working for me. So 6.5, and the best odds are -109 available over on Pinnacle. How do you like that? You like that?
Yeah, I like the way it stinks.
I like the way it smells. But yeah, man, thank you guys again for tuning in. Gonna be bringing you lots of exciting stuff. We just hopped off another incredible interview with former NFL and CFL players. Well, gonna be firing up on all cylinders again, and gonna be posting more articles on Crier Media. Make sure you check out crier.co as well for all things DB2 related, and so on and so forth as well. Shout out to our boys over at Yup Beer. We've missed you. Ding, ding. But yeah, man, thanks again. Thanks for all the support, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll be back with our regular scheduled programming, but we're going to put this out. Yeah, love you all. Talk to you later.
Thank you.